Hello again, my wonderful students. This is foldable number 4. This is number 4. This is two parts. We have the first part here, which is opposites. Are they opposites, yes or no? And then the second part, it's actually the same foldable. So if you see here, it's this is still a tri-foldable. But since this one's going to take a little bit more work, I actually decided to make it 2 spots instead of just 1. Because we wouldn't be able to fit all this wonderful information into one. And I guess I could have separated these two, but since they're so related to be the same thing, I wanted to put them in the same video. So I made this whole space here so they can all fit on the bottom. And we won't use the whole information, or we won't use the whole space, but we'll use as much as we need. And this is the ratio of surface area to volume. But we're working on just opposites right now, so because that's what this video is about, the first part here. So here we go. So we got to see these numbers here are opposites. So the best thing to do is don't worry about the first one so far, but worry about this one here. We want to factor out something to be able to figure out to see if we can get this to look like this. So the easiest way to do that is to figure out numbers here. So we want to pull out a -1. The -1 is the key thing here. So I'm going to put a -1 here. And now I got to look to see here, what number times -1 can I get to make positive 17? Well, I know 1 times 17 would give me a -17, but I want a positive. So I'm also going to make this 17 negative. So I know that -1 times -17 gives me a positive 17. Same thing here. I got to pull out a -1. But I know that this times 2c is going to give me -1. So I don't have to change this one at all. It's going to be -1 times 2c. It's going to give me this. All right, so now we're going to factor this out. So we have our -1 common factor. And whatever's left over is now -17 plus a positive c. Because this is positive, right? This one was negative, but we're factoring that out. But I'm going to write it with the c in front. So we have our 2c minus our 17. And that's factored out. So if we see here that now we have this. And these are the same. So 2c minus 17 and 2c minus 17 are the same. And we have our -1, which makes the, if we add a negative to the number, or we multiply any expression by a -1, that gives us an opposite. So for this one, we have, yes, comma, these are opposites. And that's it for this one. So to make sure. So same thing again, we factor out -1 to both, factor it out. If this is the same as here, this expression are the same. And then we have one that has a -1, it shows their opposites. Okay, same thing for the next one. We're going to leave this one alone. We're going to go on this one. So I know that -1 is what we need to pull out. And in order to get a -3, I have to multiply by -3 again. Or sorry, to get a positive 3, because -1 times -3 gives us a positive 3. And then I have a -2 here again. But I'm going to pull out a -1. And I know that -1 times 2x will give us a positive 2x. Or sorry, -2x. -1 times 2x, positive 2x will give us a -2x. So same thing that we did up there, we can pull out the negative. And we're left with, once again, I'm going to write the variable in front. So we have our positive 2x, because we're taking the -1 out. And then we have our -3 here. And once again, we have our 2x minus 3 and our 2x minus 3. So we know these are opposites because the two expressions are the same, except the -1 here is being pulled out. So these are, yes, these are opposites. All right, and we can kind of see too, if you have 2c minus 17, and they kind of just switch orders, we have 17 minus 2c, we can show that they're opposites. 2x minus 3, and then the same thing, but a different order, 3 minus 2x, yes, these are opposite. So this one, we can check using the same logic. We have 3t minus 4, and then over here we have 4 plus 3t. So we know already these are not opposites, but let's go ahead and work them out just so we can see what's going on. So we have here, we have to see what it makes this. So we have our -1 again, we're going to pull out. And then we have to get a -4 in order to get this to be a positive 4, because -1 times -4 makes a positive 4. And then same thing here, we have to pull out our -1. But in order to make a positive 3t, we have to make a -3t. So already we see a difference in our patterns. But it's okay. So we're going to pull out our -1. And what's left is, once again, we're going to start with our variable in front. So we have our -3t minus our 4. And we can see now that these are not opposites because this is not a negative here. It's positive 3t, and this is a negative 3t. So even though we have our opposite negative 1 here, these two expressions are not the same. So these are no. These are not. You know what? Do it this way because it's very important. These are not opposites. Okay? Because these are not the same. All right, that concludes part 1 of Foldable 4.